Let's quickly talk about this crazy game one between the Denver Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. We all know it had a crazy finish. We'll get to the finish, but I kind of want to walk us through the game to talk about how we got here and some of the things I saw leading up to Aaron Gordon's game winner. Spoiler alert. To start out this game, one of the biggest things that stood out to me early was that OKC was going to potentially be struggling to shoot from three. They didn't necessarily find their shot throughout the game, but they started this game 0 for 5 from three. And one of the things that I was potentially worried about them going into this series is I wouldn't say OKC has volatile three-point shooters or even inconsistent three-point shooters. They have a couple of solid ones. Isaiah Joe's an excellent shooter. Shea's improved his shot a lot. Jalen Williams is a decent shooter as well. Caruso's a solid knockdown three guy. But I've seen stretches of them throughout the regular season where they can be up and down shooting, and I thought particularly against this Nuggets team, OKC could not have one of those up and down shooting nights. But although they started out 0 for 5 from three, they were still in this game. And honestly, in the first quarter, to me, it felt like they were in command of the game. Jamal Murray started out this game well. He was 4 for 6, had 12 points. He did a great job of keeping the Nuggets in the game. He kept scoring in those first three quarters to keep the Nuggets within 5, 6, 7 points, not letting it get too far out of hand. And then Jokic took over in the fourth. We'll get to that. OKC's defense early in that game on Nikola Jokic was a thing of beauty. A lot of times early in the game, Jokic was trying to get post-ups on the block, either on Chet or on Hartenstein. And while he was scoring on some of those, OKC did a great job, whether it was Caruso doubling down, Jalen Williams doubling down. Specifically, I can remember 2 back-to-back plays where SGA and Caruso doubled down. The first play was SGA doubling down from the wing, and the second play was Alex Caruso doubling down from the baseline and kind of coming up behind Jokic, and both times they got a turnover, got in the break, and scored. OKC did an excellent job, especially in that first half, of causing Nikola Jokic to turn the ball over and getting out on a fast break. He looked, honestly, I want to say not himself, because he still was scoring, he still was rebounding, but you can tell in that first half, especially that first quarter and the second quarter, he was frustrated. The first quarter, I wrote down, it felt so fast, I really feel like I didn't get enough notes on the Nuggets, because that's how fast that quarter was. It felt like a blur of the amount of turnovers that the Oklahoma City Thunder were generating. The fact that they were missing threes was letting the Nuggets stay in this game. And you end that first quarter 26-27, OKC up 1. Second quarter, Jokic starts on the bench, and I say, well, what can the Nuggets do on their own without him on the floor? OKC starts with some good inside-out game to get Alex Caruso a wide-open three. OKC continues to force turnovers. I remember Casey Wallace getting a nice and 1 layup on the break. They started to send to the Murray now in the second quarter. Once Jokic wasn't on the court, they're like, all right, let's just double Jamal Murray. But the amazing thing about the Thunder in that first half, although they were scrambling and doubling Jamal Murray or doubling Jokic, they were doing a great job, if one of those two did give the ball out of their hands, of scrambling out of that and not giving up open threes. And if a Nuggets player did get a three off, it was at least a three with a wing flying at them, a guard flying at them, and not necessarily a wide open, take your time, catch and shoot three. The Thunder were doing an excellent job of staying in the passing lanes. Even if they didn't get the steal, they were deflecting it, causing passes to go out of bounds, causing fumbled catches, and not letting the Nuggets players get clean catches because they were playing so tight and playing in the passing lane so much. I thought in that first half, Chet was doing as decent as a job as he could guarding Nikola Jokic. Yes, he did up and in foul trouble, ended up with 3 fouls. Him and Hartenstein ended up with 3 fouls in the first half because they were just trying to play really, really physical with Jokic. Jokic was doing a good job of scoring through that contact, scoring over the defenders. But all things considered, I think Chet did as good as a job as you could ask almost anyone in terms of guarding Jokic, especially in that first half. I talked about the Thunder causing turnovers and scoring off those turnovers. At the 4-minute mark in the second quarter, OKC already had 12 points off of turnovers. They were causing the Nuggets to turn the ball over and getting out on the break and scoring. I mentioned earlier that Chet and Ihart had 3 fouls going into halftime. They both got 3 fouls towards the end of the second half, and that's when Joker really took advantage of Jalen Williams not really being able to guard him. He's still a solid big, but he's way undersized compared to both Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein, and Jokic took advantage of that. And the Nuggets get it within a 10-point game going into halftime. In that third quarter, Jokic draws his 4th foul midway through the third, and I'm like, okay, Jokic, you can't get in foul trouble, because if you get in foul trouble, this game's really over for the Nuggets. Lou Dort decides to wake up from 3 and hits 2 big threes, and I want to say the first half of the third quarter. And it just felt like Denver couldn't get an easy 3 off to start that third. Like, the Thunder were continuing to run this stream. I literally wrote down, OKC's death is a constant stream of great defenders. Like, it was a constant stream of fresh legs, whether it be Caruso or Jalen Williams or Lou Dort or shoot, even Isaiah Joe was solid defensively this game. Casey Wallace was good defensively this game. They just had a stream of guys who could play really, really good defense and scramble around the court and go from doubling Jokic to out on a shooter in the blink of an eye. But then Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein get their fourth foul, still in foul trouble. OKC starts taking a lot of threes, what I thought at one point felt like a lot of unnecessary threes. Jalen Williams really struggled in this game. He was 1 for 6 in just the third quarter alone. And while in this stretch when the OKC was struggling to score, Denver goes on a 9-0 run, gets out in the break, takes advantage of some of these long rebounds, and gets out on a 9-0 run. With Chet and Hartenstein off the floor, Denver also started attacking the offensive side of the glass. In the third quarter, Denver had 9 offensive rebounds. Shoot, just the rebounding battle in general. In the third quarter, Denver had 20 rebounds. OKC had 9. They out-rebounded them by 11 in just the third quarter alone. Denver really took control of the glass in the third quarter, and that's what started to get them back in the game to set up this masterpiece of the fourth that Jokic put on. So we get to the third quarter, and it's a battle. Like, it's a really, really good game. Caruso knocks down 2 big threes for the OKC Thunder. Denver started to settle down in that third and fourth quarter, a lot less turnovers compared to that first half, and you could see it in their offense. Their offense looked more confident. The offense started to look more settled, and they were scoring more. In that fourth quarter, Jokic started to get more patient, and one key difference I noticed in Jokic from the fourth quarter compared to the first half, he stopped posting up on the block. When he was posting up the block in the first half, that's when that double team could come behind him, swoop along the baseline, double down from the wing even. And that fourth quarter, he had the ball a lot at the top of the key. He hit 2 big threes over one over Chet Holmgren and one over Isaiah Hartenstein, basically at the same spot, dead center at the top of the key. That was late in the fourth. But even earlier on in that fourth quarter, he started getting the ball and operating more out of the high post free throw line extended area, and it's harder to double there because the big guarding Jokic is already out of the paint. So if you do double from the corner, it leaves that backdoor slip. If you guard from the wing even, it can leave a backdoor slip. It's just harder to double Jokic when he's in the high post, and I think that was a really great adjustment that the Nuggets made by having him operate the high post as opposed to the low post in that fourth quarter. Jokic hits a big shot in the fourth quarter with I want to say it was about 40 seconds left. That's when I mentioned those 2 top of the key threes that came late in that fourth. One was at the 42nd mark that I want to say got them. Let me just pull it up. So then we get down to crunch time of the game. We're about a minute left, and I remember I mentioned earlier Jokic hitting some big threes at the top of the key. He hit a 3 at the top of the key to put the Nuggets only down 1 with a minute left. And that turned out to be a huge shot because for the next about 40 seconds, neither team could score a field goal. Jalen Williams missed a driving layup. Westbrook missed the open 3. Gordon missed a turnaround jump shot. And once OKC secures that rebound off of Gordon's miss, Brown fouls SGA as he's trying to bring the ball up the court. SGA knocks down both free throws, and now the Thunder are up 3 with 14 seconds left. And it's interesting, we're going to talk about the foul up 3 idea. Everyone talks about when Aaron Gordon was fouled when Jokic was out. But before that, after SGA knocks down both free throws to give OKC a 3-point lead, Denver inbounds the ball to Jokic at the top of the key, and Caruso immediately fouls him because they're playing the we foul when we're up 3. This is with 13 seconds left. Jokic, of course, knocks down both free throws. OKC calls the timeout. The Nuggets sub Jokic out, and then that's when we get that quick inbounds play that SGA is able to slip for that dunk, putting them up 3 again. And then they foul Aaron Gordon. And then we know what happens from there. Aaron Gordon knocks down both their free throws. Chet doesn't knock down his free throws. And Aaron Gordon hits a game-winning 3. 2 things that I think were interesting about that and that a lot of people are talking about is why foul Aaron Gordon when Jokic is already out. Nuggets don't have a timeout. It's 11 seconds left. They have to bring the ball all the way up and try to get a 3 off or a quick 2, and then they have to foul you. But as I just said from the play before, Caruso just fouled Jokic with about 15 seconds left. They were already in the mindset of, we're up 3, we're fouling, and we're going to play the foul game. And Mark Daigneault has since said that, hey, the up 3 foul thing, that was on me, that's not on the players. But I don't know if no one just realized Jokic was on the floor, maybe we shouldn't foul. Because also I think it's so interesting is because, like I said, because when SGA caught the ball in the inbounds and was able to slip and get the dunk before Aaron Gordon gets fouled, Jokic isn't on the floor, and it's Peyton Watson guarding Alex Caruso in the inbounds, and it's a really easy pass to get to SGA. Once Jokic is back on the floor, it's Alex Caruso inbounded again, but now Jokic is the one guarding him. And he makes it really tough to get that ball inbounds. He even turns around away from the inbounder just to face guard SGA to make sure the ball doesn't get in SGA's hands, and that's how Chet ends up with it. Do I feel like OKC gave this game up or threw this game away? I wouldn't say that. I would say they had a good lead, but not a lead that I thought was insurmountable by the Nuggets by any means. The Nuggets hung around to this game the entire time. Maybe some of their late game execution could have been done differently, but you can also make the argument that, hey, instead of losing, maybe they go into overtime and lose. You know, it's a big what if. A lot of people don't like the foul up three concept as a whole. I'm not against it. I'm one of the people who believe there's a time and place for every defensive scheme. If you run a 2-3 zone when the team's shooting crazy from three, that's the wrong time to run that scheme. If you run a 3-2 to stop shooters but can't get a rebound, that might be the time to run that scheme. Foul up three is just a newer defensive schemes that some teams are trying to implement. We saw it work earlier that same night for the New York Knicks and against the Boston Celtics. Karl-Anthony Towns fouled, I want to say it was Jaylen Brown in overtime when they were up three, and it worked out for them. It's all about time and place. I think this has the potential to be an absolutely amazing series. Going into it, I was leaning more so towards OKC winning. I'm not changing my mind on that yet, but Denver did a heck of a job coming in and stealing game one.